all know how incredibly frustrating hair thinning can be. And we need to address the elephant in the room. What do you do when minoxidil, the standard go-to topical, just isn't enough on its own? Minoxidil is fantastic, don't get me wrong. It's great at enhancing blood flow and keeping hair in the growth phase. But if you're still experiencing thinning, or hey, maybe you just prefer not to use it, you need to know that it's just one single tool in a massive toolbox. And honestly, this quote brilliantly illustrates the urgency of the situation. The average person won't even notice they have hair loss until they've lost 50% of their hair. Think about that for a second. There is absolutely no known cure for male and female pattern hair loss right now. So what does that mean for us? It means consistency is required indefinitely, and you have to start treating it early. The ultimate goal here is to preserve and grow what you have right now. That way, when future innovations finally hit the market, you'll have the absolute best chance of responding to them. So, here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the rules of regrowth. 2, prescription DHT blockers. 3, procedures and devices. 4, serums and shampoos. And finally, the truth about supplements. Let's get into it.
Section 1, the rules of regrowth. Setting expectations.
So, the absolute most crucial point here is understanding DHT, or dihydrotestosterone. This right here is the main physiological villain driving female and male pattern alopecia. When DHT interacts with your hair follicles, it basically causes them to shrink, weaken, and eventually fall out. Now, minoxidil, it doesn't address this hormonal root cause at all. It just doesn't. And that's exactly why our first set of alternative treatments aims specifically to block it. Moving on to Section 2, prescription DHT blockers. These are the heavy hitters. When you're weighing your prescription options, it really helps to contrast the highly potent classic medications like Finasteride and dutasteride against the gentler spironolactone. Finasteride and dutasteride actively block the enzyme that converts testosterone into that villain we just talked about, DHT. Now, they have decades of safety and efficacy data behind them. But because they can affect a developing fetus, they're generally reserved for men and postmenopausal women. On the flip side, spironolactone acts as a gentler systemic blocker of androgen receptors right at the hair follicle itself. This one is widely used for premenopausal women. Oh, and if you want to avoid systemic medications entirely, well, all 3 of these actually come in topical formulations as well, which is a total game changer for a lot of people. Next up, Section 3, procedures and devices. We're talking about stimulating the scalp. Okay, platelet-rich plasma, or PRP. I know, it sounds super intense, and yes, it does cost around $3,000 to $4,000 for 4 sessions. But listen, it's a completely natural approach, and it basically breaks down into 3 simple steps to effectively reduce shedding. In a clinic, they draw your blood, they spin it down to extract your body's own highly effective growth factors, and then they inject them right back into your scalp. While it is definitely a luxury procedure, and no, it's not covered by insurance, it is incredibly low risk. It's really highly favored by patients who just want a totally natural intervention to wake up those dormant follicles. Now, devices like the Current Body or iRestore helmets, look, let's be honest, they might look a little ridiculous to wear, but clinical trials prove that these are incredibly safe and highly effective tools to add to your daily routine. Low-level light therapy requires just 5 to 20 minutes a day. You can literally just pop the helmet on while you're watching Netflix or scrolling on your phone. It's a fantastic, safe method, and it comes with virtually 0 side effects. You can also physically stimulate that blood flow right at home using scalp microneedling. What this does is trigger a natural wound healing response and primes your scalp to better absorb topical treatments. By safely creating very shallow micro-injuries on a perfectly clean scalp, please, once or twice a week, you're not only naturally stimulating hair growth, but you're also creating the absolute perfect environment to apply the topicals we're about to look at. Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, serums and shampoos. Let's talk topical support. Let's take a look at some of the most effective topical options out there right now. Virtue brings molecular complexes like Capixyl and Redensyl to the table, which aim to really firmly anchor the hair root. Then you have MV offering a very unique formulation with caffeine and resveratrol to stimulate the follicle. Swede utilizes proven core peptides to deeply nourish the hair, while OneSkin uses their proprietary OS1 peptide to actually clear out localized cellular aging. It's fascinating stuff. And as for shampoos, well, since you have to wash your hair anyway, swapping in an over-the-counter antifungal like Nizoral or the evidence-packed Revita from DS Labs allows you to address scalp inflammation and brilliantly block DHT right there in the shower. Moving to Section 5, the truth about supplements. Let's look at internal support. Okay, the hard truth is this. You should only really be supplementing if you have proven lab deficiencies in these specific micronutrients. Otherwise, popping random hair gummies just isn't going to fix the root problem. Your primary focus should be ensuring your iron, vitamin D, and zinc levels are optimal, and making sure you are actually hitting your dietary protein goals. If you're falling short, utilizing whey, pea, or collagen protein is highly, highly beneficial. However, let's say you do want some internal support, but without a prescription. Well, plain pumpkin seed oil actually has conservative evidence showing it functions like a natural DHT blocker. It essentially works like a natural finasteride by blocking that 5-alpha reductase enzyme, the exact same enzyme that converts testosterone into the hair-thinning DHT we talked about earlier. Pretty cool, right? Now, when comparing the two biggest name brands out there, Nutrafol and Viscals, both actually have internal studies proving their efficacy. But we have to talk about pill fatigue, because that's a massive deciding factor for a lot of users. Nutrafol features a robust, proprietary blend that includes the natural DHT blockers saw palmetto along with marine collagen. But committing to taking 4 large pills every single day, that can be a total deal breaker for sure. Viscal sits right next to it in this space, often at a lower price point, and only requires 2 pills daily. When it comes to supplements, finding what you can actually tolerate taking consistently is key. And we have to bust a massive myth right here, right now. Over-supplementing with biotin is completely unnecessary, and honestly, it can actually cause acne. True biotin deficiency is incredibly rare, so taking those standard hair and nail pills that are just loaded with massive amounts of biotin, that can artificially alter your medical blood work and trigger severe breakouts. Exploring biotin-free alternatives like express gummies that instead pack genuinely helpful ingredients like saw palmetto is a far, far smarter route. Finally, Section 6. The golden rule: patience. Here's the deal. You absolutely must commit to any new regimen for 6 to 9 months before making any judgments about its efficacy. There's no way around it. Hair growth simply happens slowly. Whether you choose one tool from this explainer or combine 5 of them, if you give up after just 2 months, you are never going to see the real results of your investment. Hair loss requires a dedicated, multifaceted approach. And, as we just said, patience is your absolute foundation. Knowing that there's no magic bullet, the real question I want to leave you with is this. Out of everything in the toolbox today, which of these tools are you going to commit to your daily routine starting? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're literally cracking open the hair loss toolbox. We're going to explore some really solid, evidence-based alternatives to minoxidil and figure out exactly how to build a multifaceted approach to hair regrowth. Okay, let's just dive right in. Look, we all know how incredibly frustrating hair thinning can be. And we need to address the elephant in the room. What do you do when minoxidil, the standard go-to topical, just isn't enough on its own? Minoxidil is fantastic, don't get me wrong. It's great at enhancing blood flow and keeping hair in the growth phase. But if you're still experiencing thinning, or hey, maybe you just prefer not to use it, you need to know that it's just one single...
Tapi menjadi